Hello. Okay, so tonight we are starting with chapter 1 of your Big Ideas book. Your assignments for the next couple days will be out of the book, so make sure you try to log on and access the book online or take your book home for the next couple of days. All right, so I'm recording this at home, so if you hear my dog, she's just very talkative and wants to be involved, so just ignore her. So today we're starting with our Common Core State Standard, CCSS, of a geometry standard, 8.5, which it talks about using informal arguments to establish facts about the angle sum and exterior angles of a triangle. So I'll go over that in more detail and we'll get into some really good information. But by the end of today's lesson, you should be able to solve a one-step equation using sum of a triangle theorem. All right, so go ahead and push pause, copy this down, and when you're ready, press play and we'll start with the next slide. All right, so we're back. So triangle sum theory is the sum of the interior angles of any triangle is 180 degrees. Any triangle. Okay, that's super important. Any triangle. It doesn't have to be a right angle. It doesn't have to be an isosceles triangle. It doesn't have to be an obtuse triangle. Any triangle. When you add up angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3, it's always going to equal 180 degrees. Super important to remember. This is going to come in handy when we look at transversals and when we do some more geometry later on. Go ahead and copy this definition and copy the example. Press pause, get that done, and when you're ready to join me again, go ahead and push play. See you in a few. Okay, so using that information that we know that angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 are going to equal 180 degrees. So we can take that information and that rule, use that angle sum theorem to create an equation. So I know that if I take 27, which is the degree of this angle, and add it to 82, which is the degree of this angle, and then add x, because I don't know what that angle is, it's all going to equal 180 degrees. Right? So right now you should just be watching. I want you guys to watch and then I'm going to have you copy it down. Right now I'm going to solve this problem. You guys pay attention and then pause it and copy it down when I let you know. All right. So the theory behind this is that I can add these three sides and it's going to equal 180. But I don't know what this side is. I'm going to use my one-step problem solving skills that you learned in the 7th grade to go ahead and solve this. So first things first, I'm going to combine my like terms, right? So I have 27 and a positive 82. So I'm going to add those up, and I can't do that in my head, and you shouldn't either. And I'm going to write them up and just add them as an old school addition problem. So 2 plus 7 is 9, 8 plus 2 is 10. So now my problem, I can combine them and say 109 plus x is equal to, you know what, I'm going to rewrite this underneath here. So I'm going to say 109 plus x. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and draw a line down here, and I want you to do the same thing. Because what this tells me is that anything that I do on this side, I also have to do on this side. So if I move anything from here, I have to do the same thing to this side. So I brought down my 109. All I did was combine them. I didn't change this in any way. I'm also going to bring down my 180. There's nothing to combine over here, so I'm just bringing it down. Next, I want to do my one-step equation. I want to have x all by itself. My goal is to solve for my variable. My variable in this case is x. So in order to move this, remember this is like a scale and I have to keep it balanced. To move this from this side, I have to do the opposite of whatever this is. So I have to add the opposite. This is positive 109. So I'm going to subtract 109. All right? And I can only do that on this side if I do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to subtract 109 from both sides. This becomes 0. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move my x down. I'm not changing that in any way. It's not negative, it's positive, so I don't need to put a negative sign. I'm just going to leave it all by itself. I'll bring down my equal sign. And I'm going to go ahead and complete this subtraction here. 0 minus 9 I can't do, so I need to actually borrow from this 8, and this becomes 10. So 10 minus 9 is 1. 7 minus 0 is 7. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So my answer is 71. So that tells me that the degree measurement of this missing angle is 71. Well, I'm going to check my work. Okay, so I'm going to check my work up here. I'm going to say 27. Well, you know what, actually, I'm just going to continue it here, right? I already added these two and I had 109. So I'm going to go ahead and add 71 to it. And let's see if I get 180, right? 9 plus 1 is 10. Carry my 1. 1 plus 7 is 8. 1 plus 0 is 1. 180 degrees. So it works, right? Perfect. Go ahead and push pause. Copy this down. And then copy this next problem down because we're going to do this one together. Push pause, and when you're ready to come back and work on problem number B, letter B, go ahead and push play. Okay, welcome back. So here I know this angle measures 43 degrees. This angle measures 52 degrees. And this angle, I don't know, but I can figure it out. So what's the first thing I need to do is write my equation, right? I'm going to write what? And you know, I like to go clockwise the way we tell time, so I'll start anywhere and then just add it. X can be my last one, so I'm going to start with 43. And to that, I'm going to add 52. And then I'm going to add X. And what does that equal? Our theorem of angle sum tells me that this is all going to equal 180 degrees. Go ahead and draw a line down here. I want to keep this angled appropriately. Okay. So again, here, what was the next thing I did? After I wrote my equation, I combined like terms. I hope you're saying that out loud to yourself. That's okay. Nobody thinks you're weird. And I'm going to circle these two because they're like terms. They're both positive. I don't know what they are on the top of my head, so I'm just going to write them up here. I've got the space. 3 plus 2 is 5. 4 plus 5 is 9. So now I have 95 plus X equals, and I'll bring down my 180. I didn't do anything to this side. Haven't changed this equation in any way. It's still 95 plus X. This is just 43 plus 52, but when we add them together, it's 95. Not changing it yet. Now I want to make my changes. So this is a positive 95. So how do I add the opposite? What is the opposite of positive 95? Opposite is negative 95. So I'm going to subtract 95 from here. I'm also going to subtract 95 from the other side. That keeps it nice and balanced. This becomes 0. Bring down my X. And now I have X is equal to whatever the difference of 180 and 95. I'm going to go ahead and borrow from the 8. 10 minus 5 is 5. Oh, I cannot subtract 9 from 7, but I can borrow from here. This is 17 now. And that's going to give me a difference of 85. And let's check our work. So I'm going to go ahead and add 85 to this problem here. And let's see if we end up with 180. 5 plus 5 is 10. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 8 is 18. Gives me 180. Beautiful. That tells me that the measurement of this third angle is 85 degrees. Go ahead and make sure you have this down. Push pause if you need to get it all copied down into your notebook. This should be number 11 on your table of contents. and we should call it sum of a triangle. Beautiful. Here we are. Now, here we have a decimal. Don't be afraid of it. Just make sure when you're doing your adding that you're lining them up. So this is going to be 62.5, and this is going to be 77.0. So as you add them up, make sure your decimals line up. Same thing on this side. We also have some decimals. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to copy this down, write up your equation, and then solve these problems. Once you're done solving, go ahead and push play again and check your answers. So you're going to push pause and then come back. All right, get lovely. Well, I'm going to do these together. I'm going to go ahead and write up both of these equations first. I have 62.5 plus 77 plus x is equal to 180. Here I have 51.3 plus 33.4 plus x equals 180. Running out of room. No, it's all right. Okay, I'm going to add up 51.3. I'm going to add up 33.4. That's a point there. And let's get this party started, right? So I'm going to go ahead and add these two. Remember, line up your decimals. I get 139.5. Hopefully you got the same thing. Let's go ahead and draw our line down here. 139.5 plus x is equal to 180. It's a positive number, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract it. And I'm also going to subtract it from here. Now you notice I'm going to add this 0 as a placeholder because I need to make sure when I'm adding or subtracting decimal numbers, I line up those decimals, okay? So I'm going to have to do some major borrowing. I'm going to have to go all the way over here. This becomes 7. This is going to be a 9, and this becomes 10. Now I can do my subtraction. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 9, oh, bring down your decimal. 9 minus 9 is 0. 7 minus 3 is 4. And 1 minus 1 is 0. This becomes 0. Bring down my x. X is equal to 40.5. Let's check it. I'm going to go ahead and add it up here. It's always a good thing to check your work if you can. You can substitute that information, what x is equal to, into your equation like this, or since I've already got it started here, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Bring down my decimal. 5 plus 5 is 10. 9 plus 1 is 10. 7 plus 1 is 8. 1 plus 0. Beautiful. Hopefully you guys have the same answer. Let's go ahead and start the next one. I already wrote this up. 51.3 plus 33.4 plus x is going to equal 180. Let's draw my line in the sand here. Here I've lined them up already. Here we have our decimals, right? 3 plus 4 is 7. Bring down your decimal. 1 plus 3 is 4. 5 plus 3 is 8. So adding these two guys up together, 51.3 and 33.4 gives me 84.7. Plus x is equal to 180. I'm going to add my opposite, so subtract 84.7. Going to subtract 84.7. Let's add our decimal in our placeholder. This becomes 0. Going to have to do some borrowing. This becomes 7. This becomes 9. And then this is 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. Bring down your decimal. 9 minus 4 is 5. 17, right? Because I can't, 7 minus 8, someone had to borrow that. 17 minus 8 gives me 9, 95.3. Let's check it. I'm going to go ahead and add it to my combined terms here. And that gives me, line up your decimals, 7 plus 3 is 10. Bring down your decimal. 5 plus 4 plus 1 is 10. Carry your 1. 9 plus 8 is 18. A whopping 180 degrees. Make sure your answers are like mine. If they're not, you might want to look to see where you made your mistake, highlight it, make the corrections, and then continue. Push pause if you have to make any corrections. Otherwise, let's go ahead and continue with the video. This one's a little bit longer. I'm over 15 minutes, but the rest of this should be pretty quick. And it's mostly copying down some information. So another thing that I want you to understand is we already know that the inside angles of a triangle are equal to 180. But there's a little trick here. The exterior angles of a triangle have a little secret. So here we have A and B. We're going to call this C and this is D. In order to find the angle measurement of the exterior angle D, so D is your exterior angle. Oh, it's right there. In order to find that, all you have to do is add A plus B. So D is equal to A plus B. Go ahead and take some time now, copy this down, push pause, and when you're ready, we'll continue. Okay, hopefully you're back. Here's just another example. That's my dog. 35 plus 62 is going to be equal to this measurement out here, which is angle D. A plus B equals D. Here they have it worked it out. Go ahead and copy this down. Push play when you're ready. Hit pause to copy it down. All right, moving on. So here we're going to do, I'm going to do this example with you or for you, and then I'm going to give you one for you to solve on your own, and then we'll be finished, okay? So remember we said angle A plus angle B is going to equal angle D. So this says, what is the measurement of angle 1? That's what this tells me. And you're going to see this a lot when we do some more geometry. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this example. So I know that I can write this equation up as 30 plus 120 is equal to, and we're going to call it D. And my dog just brought me a stick. She's a cute one, but she's distracting right now. So let's go ahead and add 30 plus 120. And this is kind of easy for me. I'm just going to bring my 30 down here, and I know that this is going to be 150 is equal to D. So what is the measurement of angle 1? So you're going to say the measurement of angle 1 is 150 degrees. It's always going to be larger than this angle here. All right, go ahead and make sure that you copy this down, and when you're ready, hit play again, and we'll do the last one. All right, here we go. This time it's a multiple choice. I'll ask you what your answer is tomorrow. And so copy this down, solve the problem. This time, they give you this one out here, so I'm going to help you out a little bit by showing you that we know that angle A plus angle B is going to be your outside angle. So in this case, we have 65. I'm going to call it B. It's equal to 105. And solve the problem. Check your answers. And tomorrow, I will confirm who got it right. Have a great one.